What's going on, guys? Matt over here, Lethal Garage, and GM has finally revealed 2020 Camaro is going to get some new things. Not completely new models, but they're shifting parts around. Let's talk about it. So it's been a while since GM has said anything about new Camaros. Actually, just Camaro in general. The last time we heard anything was basically SEMA, and that was when they revealed the new shock concept car. We saw the bumper get the bow tie removed from the bumper, added to the grill, and everyone's like, yes, it finally looks a little better. GM needs to make it look like this all the time. And it was kind of rumored around that it was going to happen, and the car has been kind of traveling all over where GM has a booth, like the NHRA and all that kind of stuff. I've seen cars at locations. Other people saw cars at locations. It seemed GM was finally going to change it, make it better. And they have. And I had to print a big list because there's a lot of things that are changing in 2020. Now, we're not getting a completely new car, but we are going to get a rebadged item, and they are moving motors around. So I'm going to just start at the top of the list, and we'll go from there. And as I talked, I'm going to call it Facelift 2.0. So if you guys didn't see it, here is the SEMA car they revealed at last year's SEMA in November. This car definitely drew some attention. One, because of the color. At the time they were calling it shock yellow. Now they're actually calling it rally green. But with that being stated, they had moved the bow tie right in the middle of all the crazy controversy where people were just like, this car looks hideous. Why would you put the bow tie in the paint and not the grill? And regardless, I'm not going to bash GM on this. We have all asked the question, why? But they fixed it. They changed it. And they've claimed they've heard us loud and clear. Yay! Thank you, GM. Appreciate that one. But the big news revolves around this new LT1. Now, let me get this right, GM. You now have a new LT1 with an LT1, but only available as a 1LT. I think I got that right. So basically, GM is now creating a new base model V8 that will look like the LT model that we have learned about or is currently seen in the 2019 model year. So if you haven't seen the 2019 LT or are confused at which one's which, here's a picture of a 2019 LT. And basically what GM is doing is they're taking this body style, which does have the bow tie and the grill, and they are dropping the LT1 V8, which is the V8 that's been in all of these cars since 2016 all the way to current. And you can get a base model LT car with a V8 motor, and they're calling it an LT1. And it's funny because the badging on the car looks just like the badging that I put on my car many years ago. I think they went to emblempros.com and stole the logo, or well, whatever. It's in the same font, and they're GM approved, genuine. But yes, basically GM is going to have the cheapest MSRP V8 car available in the segment. It beats Mustang. It's going to beat the Challenger. I don't know if it beats the Charger, and that's the one thing no one brings up in these conversations. The Charger is very much, or should be, in the conversation. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm going to post in the comments below the pricing of all 4 tiers with a V8. I'm going to be curious to know, and I should have did it before the video, but it just popped in my head while I'm recording. But the LT1, and basically it is an LT base model car with the LT1 V8. They're adding a 20-inch, or they're adding 20-inch wheels on it. That's not going to be the staggered setup that you see on the SS. It will be wrapped with decent tires. And the suspension and everything, it sounds like it's going to be LT suspension. That's going to be interesting to see how that handles. The other side of it is you compare it with the A10. And on top of that, you can now get the A10 in the V6 model LT. So if you guys didn't know, there's 2 motor types in the LT. There's the 2.0 turbo, the 4-cylinder, and there's the V6, the 3.6 liter. And now with just the V6, there's an option. I believe it's option. Now, all the sites are kind of saying different things, but it sounds like it's an optional upgrade to add the A10. I don't know if it's completely replacing the A8, but with the V6, you can now get the manual 6, or you can get the A10 transmission. I think the A8's still in the mix. I could be wrong. It might be gone altogether, and you might just be able to see it in the 2.0 turbo. It's kind of unclear, and until the basically builder or the online car builder comes out, we won't know for sure. But yes, that is basically the LT1 vehicle. Kind of cool. pretty awesome, and it hits a mark that people have been kind of asking for, a low-priced V8 car. And as far as MSRP goes, yeah, it's going to be the lowest price. But as you all know, Dodge, Mustang, even Chevy, they run discounts on all these cars or rebates or anything like that. So you'll probably be able to get these cars for a couple $1,000s cheaper. And with that being stated, we all know a new car launch probably isn't going to be discounted right away. So maybe mid-year 2020, we'll see those probably in the $32,000 range. That's not too bad for a V8. But I touched on this just a second ago, but the A8 transmission is available with the 3.6 V6. So now you can get it in the ZL1, you can get it in the SS, and you can get it in the LT models. Now, keep in mind, I believe the transmission is the same transmission from the SS, so it's not the overbuilt one that will take more power like that's in the ZL1. So that's unfortunate, but it's a V6. It makes 335 horsepower, I think it is. So I think it will be okay. But that's kind of a cool upgrade and just more options for people. If anything, GM is kind of rolling out that transmission across the board, and I think they're honestly trying to phase out the A8 with all the shuttering issues and problems that have been going on. Yeah, it's time. Get rid of that A8. Let's do it. So what else is new? Well, there's a couple things. It seems like GM might have a couple leftover orange calipers. So if you guys remember the Hot Wheels edition car that came out in 2018, I believe model year is what it was. It was the 50-year anniversary of Hot Wheels. So obviously 17 was the 50th anniversary of Camaro being in existence. 18 was Hot Wheels anniversary. And you could get that car, the Brembos were painted orange. Now, for some reason, GM is allowing you to now choose between orange and red Brembo brakes. Seems like they have an abundance of overflow of brake calipers. Great way to pass on some of them, but hey, you know, if you like orange, you can get orange brake calipers. Some of the other things now is you can get red seat belts in the interior and red interior knee bolster pads. That's been something that some people have asked for. I've seen it. I know a lot of people, they really wanted the hyper blue car with a full red interior and just go straight up Superman on it. I don't think that was ever possible, but maybe this is one step closer for all of you guys that have 16, 17, 18s or 16, 17s with hyper blue. Was hyper blue in 18? God, my memory's, maybe it was in 18. I think it went away in 19. That's right. Maybe you can finally do your Superman theme with OEM parts. And Recaro bucket seats are now going to be available for the LT models. So I believe you could upgrade them for the 1LEs, but now they're just available for all the LT models. So you can add them to those models. So that's kind of cool if you want a seat with bolsters. Awesome. And yeah, I was going to go somewhere with that, but whatever. And exterior, we kind of talked about that already with the brake calipers, but also the LS and the LT cars can upgrade to the RS spoiler without having to pay for the full RS package. That's kind of cool. So instead of having a car that literally has just no spoiler or that little baby tiny thing, you can now actually buy the RS spoiler without having to spend the entire RS package money to get it. So yeah, GM 2020 Camaro, it is coming. If you guys didn't see the images, I peppered them through this video. Here they are back to back. It's kind of funny. They chose that Riverside blue color. I believe that's the blue that this Camaro is. I don't think it's the best color to showcase this front end. It's probably, I think, one of the worst looking ones. The shock yellow or the what are they calling it? Rally green from SEMA actually looks pretty good with the whole color match bumper with the split and now with the bow tie up in the grill. But maybe they should have done white or silver or black. I don't know. It's GM. They can do what they want. But the biggest thing that I'm happy with is there's some sort of marketing. There's some sort of movement. It's just proof that the team is not completely gone around Camaro. Now, does that mean... is there going to be a 7th gen? I'd love for there to be a 7th gen, but I honestly feel everything just has kind of been put on hold because of the C8 Corvette. And if we're going to hear anything new... it's going to happen after the C8 is revealed. And what is that, July or something like that? The summertime C8's coming. So I know you guys will post the dates down below. I've even posted on my Instagram. I've just forgotten. But all that being stated, there's still rumor that there's going to be some new engines coming to the ZL1. And if that happens, it would be something to compete against the GT500. I don't even think the ZL1 needs to compete against the GT500 with a bigger motor. I think it can already do it with where it's at. The ZL1, that is, the ZL1 1LE and the ZL1 competing with the GT500. But if they did, for happenstance, decide, hey, let's put the LT5 that's from the ZR1 into a new ZL1, I mean, that could be something they do. Why not? They got the motors. It's making more power. I'm pretty sure the chassis can handle it. I know a lot of guys that have ZL1s and ZL1 1LEs that are upgrading their cars to that 750 wheel horsepower range. Now, keep in mind, when GM says 750, that's crank, so it's probably more like 700 wheel. It's pretty gnarly, and those cars run really well. So if they did that, I think it would be widely accepted. Unfortunately, it would just hammer the prices of the current ZL1 and ZL1 1LEs. But if there's one thing we know for sure, GM does not care about the resale value of a car they have already sold you. They just don't. They're going to sell as many as they can. Like, why can't they just like adopt the Ford GT model and make one hierarchy model, and they just make so many of them? Maybe it's because the Z28 kind of bit them and they had a ton of models. I think if they would have limited it the second year as much as they did the first year, they would have been fine. But who am I? I'm just a Camaro fan. All that being said, let me know what you guys think. What do you think of the 2020 Camaro? What do you think of these new options? Is it something that excites you? Is it something that's too little too late? Is it something that maybe you might go look at the new cars? I like the look of the new SS. Do I like it more than my 16? No, I do not. Do I like the LT look better than my 16? No, I do not. Do I think it looks better, at least the SS version of 19 versus the 2020 version of the SS? I think the 2020 version is night and day difference better, just with those few changes in the front end. Yes. So I hope it helps GM sell more cars. I truly hope that GM keeps the Camaro brand moving forward. I'm excited to see what they can do with the 7th gen, but I am super excited. The 2020 cars are going to have some new changes, and honestly, I think it's going to open the doors to a lot of new potential benchmarks. Maybe once our Paradise dealership gets one, I can hop in the new LT1 stripped down car and just really go over it, check it out, and bring you guys that video. So we'll see later this year as soon as those cars start hitting the lots. But 2020 Camaro, they made changes, they made an announcement. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. So as always, likes, comments, shares, appreciate it. Hit that subscribe if you guys want more Camaro content. But as always, which I just said, hope to see you guys on the road. 2020 Camaro news! Oh my gosh, 2020 Camaro news! 2020 Camaro news!